Welcome, everybody. Scurv here. I'm not in the studio right now, so you might hear a little background noise, but I wanted to put this together while my thoughts are fresh because I don't know if you saw it or not, but there's a video or several videos and several creators that have shared a video with Young Pharaoh, who I can say is an activist slash influencer who many people have followed his rise on social media because primarily that's how he has reached the people. And again, if there's any background noise, I'm in the crowded streets. You know what I look like, so there's no need to show my face. But Young Pharaoh was saying a lot of things that were out of the ordinary, which many people felt that he made sense. And many people felt that he was a quack. He was definitely very interesting, as I have an expanded mindset to giving it a chance with certain things that those who are trained in the system and are subservient to the system. And again, for those who are coming in, let me know how the sound is because it is very windy out here. And I usually don't do live streams on the phone outside because the reception could either blur out or can buffer depending on my connection where I am. But I had to do this. And I said I would do more like this and not wait until I get home, as I have a lot to do today. But that being said, no matter where you consider Young Pharaoh on the scale of sanity and common sense, I will say that with the so-called mainstream media and the puppeteers who are behind the government and big corporations, they will try to paint him or anyone who has gained influence as a quack, as a crazy person. And now I believe they have enough of what we would call technology to be able to orchestrate that so that they can demean the truth of what he said. Now, again, I'm not going to say everything that he has said is proven in 100% truth, but he has said some things that really seem to be truthful and need to be investigated into. But I'll just say this in the video. I know it wasn't AI. It had nothing to suggest that it was, unless AI is that good. So, you know, looking at this thing, he had these long fingernails, yellowish or gold, the way a woman would have them. And they had designs on them, really long. And the way he was looking, as soon as I saw the expression on his face, it struck me as one who is homosexual. Now, I'm not attacking anybody who lives the way they live. This is not what it's about. But he looked to be, through his expression, very much flaming. Men know that look. Straight heterosexual men know that look when occasionally or oftentimes you might have a homosexual man checking you out and throwing those vibes to see if you bite, to see if you're interested, to see if undercover you might want to go off into an alleyway somewhere and swing a quick episode of whatever it is that you want to do. And so when I looked into it more, the first video I saw had music in the background. And when I get to a quiet space, because I am outside around and about right now, I'll say this, that unless he was acting, unless he was putting on, the brother definitely has some type of mental issue going on, whether it's something that happened to him naturally, which I doubt, because when you have a mental situation going on, usually it's something of unnatural circumstances that causes you to break mentally. And we don't know the pressure he was under. But there's no way that anyone in their right mind would act in this manner. Seriously. And I don't get it. We'll just have to see over time. But this is the way I feel, my opinion. Anybody who threatens to reveal, especially to the young folks, and excuse the noise again because I'm outside and I'm near some heavy traffic, and I couldn't wait to talk about this. So hopefully the audio comes out so when it plays back, you can hear what I'm saying. I don't like to usually do this, but I had to. But my thought is, you can be revolutionary all you want, according to the powers that be, but you better not. And yes, welcome, Sister Queen Diane. Just let me know if the sound is okay. I'm out here in the busy streets of Accra. But you can be revolutionary all you want, but you better not have influence over the youth. You see, you can be an old, grimy revolutionary who's speaking to auditoriums that are not even 15% filled. They're okay with that because they know nobody's listening. And with the powers that be, and I'm going to apologize for saying it in such a broad stroke statement, but with that faction, they surveil the horizon of those who influence Black people all over the world. And anybody who seems to have some type of influence, they want to come after them. That's the way I see it. Because it's the youth that they target. And if the youth start listening, teenagers and people in their early 20s, hand up, because there's some adults that listen. See? So they have to snuff that person. Just the same way that I will say that back in the day when I was in elementary school, that you had teachers who were all connected as wives and sisters to the small hats. Those were infested in the public school system. There are people that are my age that are learning things that were never taught to us. And really, the things that Brother Metamorphosis, aka Neil Frazier, will speak about as far as our inventors, as far as our people who have influenced whole industries that everybody uses. We were never taught about that. Why? So to me, those small hat teachers were there in the front lines to see who were the most brilliant, to see who were the best of the best, the creme de la creme of our people who would grow up to be very influential in raising our status in the world, because we would see our greatness, we would utilize our talents and abilities which we have, but for some reason, that knowledge was kept away from us. So when you have a young Pharaoh who may have a style that the older people may not have liked, when he was speaking about metaphysical things, historical things, again, I'm not going to say that I had grasped everything that he said, but I considered it. I didn't try to debunk it. I said to myself, well, if this brother is divinely inspired, I'll put this stuff on the shelf until I have the mindset where I can either digest it or say, well, that's something I don't agree with. But nonetheless, I wouldn't dismiss the brother because he's much younger than me, because our youth can have wisdom that those of us who are older may not have. So I'm not one of those old dudes that, because I think I've had a full life, there's a lot of things I don't know. And we all have a unique position on the team of Black Revolution. So there are those who are chosen for certain things that may be younger, may be older. We have brilliance that come from people in our race that were never educated by the accepted schools that most would say you had to go through to do something brilliant. You understand? So that's my thing. But right now, I believe he was interfered with, targeted. You have this thing called MKUltra, all different programs in the government that have been in effect for many decades. Excuse the noise, please. I'm actually in the middle of a divider walking down this busy road, going to my next destination. But just like those small hat teachers that look over the horizon to see who is the most brilliant of us, and they saw that in Malcolm X, they saw that in Farrakhan, basically saying, why would you want to be a lawyer? Why don't you become a carpenter? Why do you want to be a doctor? Why don't you just go into accounting? And even they wouldn't even suggest you go into accounting, right? And there's nothing wrong with being a carpenter. There's nothing wrong with being an electrician. As a matter of fact, I would say that those are worthy professions to go in, because AI can't replace that right now. So we need those in our community. And really, to go into a system that's controlled by somebody else is something that we don't want. But we have to be wise when we look to leave out of the system, because a hasty decision can come back to bite you. But I don't know what's going on with the brother, with the effeminate ways that he's displaying, almost in a way to ridicule any good or any influence that he has had in the past. But let's not just look at that when you see the video, because when I get to a good spot, I'm going to take the link of that video and put it in the description area. But let's not be too quick to ridicule our own when they have done good or led our people away from the common decadence that this system wants to see us indulge in, right? They want to see our women half naked out there, only seeing themselves as playthings. They want to see our men effeminate or thinking like a thug or trying only to excel in sports that they control, where it's only the far and few between who can make it to the top. They don't really encourage us, and we shouldn't look to them to encourage us, but they control social media. And I'm working on a call-in show, an old-fashioned call-in show that you can call in and we can really discuss some extremely controversial topics freely and name the small hats when we talk about them as they are and keep it off of the major so-called social media platforms. I'm working on that as we speak. In the next few days, I'll give you a word. You'll be completely anonymous and we'll be able to discuss things, and I'll keep it where we can go back and listen to somewhere separate from them and away from, although I'll drop teasers if it is a part that I can share without being targeted with my content. So I'm not playing. And this will be something completely off of social media all the way that we can access. I just have to set it up a certain way. I'm at my destination now, but I'm going to talk for a few more seconds, and I'll come back later on when I get on in home to the studio. But I wanted to just share that, and I'm going to put that link in a few moments or after this stream is over. But the bottom line is that when we display too much brilliance, when we have too much talents that we don't offer to the enemy for his use, for his influence, for his gain, and we use it for ourselves, we're going to be a target, and they're going to try to buck break us and lynch us in front of everybody, not with a rope around our neck, but by demeaning us and degrading us with their interference, with their programs, whether it's a beam of light or something they shoot at us or some drugs or some type of thing to make it seem like we're crazy, to say, hey, you can't listen to this man because all along he's nuts. And again, all of us are used as tools righteously, those of us who have divine talents and abilities. If you have a brand new rake, if you have a brand new tool that you use in your garden, just because it got a little dirt on it doesn't mean it's not useful anymore. Just because it's smeared or broken a little bit doesn't mean that it didn't do some good. So if there's anything that Brother Young Pharaoh has influenced you to investigate or research, I'm not saying take what he said or anybody said on face value, but if it caused you to think beyond the boundaries of what the oppressive parasites of this world want you to indulge in, then take it a step further and expand your mind, confirm it, and take it from there. Don't throw this brother away. Don't throw any of us away, because there are many of us who, although I'm a Malcolm X kind of guy, but Dr. Martin Luther King, as he got wise and started moving toward the philosophy of Malcolm X, the powers that be didn't like that. And yes, they say it's confirmed that he had lots of women and all of this stuff going on, but are we going to take the good that he did, even if for many of us, his earlier philosophies weren't something that we so-called believed in, but we can't throw him away because of that. We can't throw different things. Right now, there are videos going out there that I will not share saying that Malcolm X's wife was running the streets with other men because she wasn't getting attention from Brother Malcolm because he was so focused on his work. I saw other videos put out there that they were saying Muhammad Ali and Malcolm X were bisexual. I mean, why is it that nobody flags those videos in communications? But if we say something about those who are at war and hurting other countries over in the Middle East, obviously, and their genocides, we can't say anything about them, but they can say stuff about those who will influence us and our young in the modern day using their platforms that they own to slash their head off, taking their sword and chopping their own head off. They don't want that. But if I jumped up wearing a skirt and makeup and a wig and long nails and said, this is who I am, we wouldn't have any problem with that, because that helps to influence other people to go that way. They don't want the Black family to survive. They don't want the Black family to be intact. That's the root. And the Black family can only be rooted in community. So Black community, meaning unity, family, social media has become the prime weapon to attack those institutions that undergird the children, to keep them thinking straight and to have examples at home of righteous manhood and womanhood and the righteous order of how things should be. And I'm not talking about just religion that's been twisted around and used for other purposes, but I'm talking about the original African way, which over here where I am, there are people who are blinded and subscribing to the ways of the West as though it's superior. We have many who are here who believe that anything traditional here is corny. No, we want to have our hair a certain way. We want to wear Indian hair. We want to have our breasts hanging out. We want to be naked. We want to be ogled by men of other races to take advantage of us because we think they're better. I mean, I can go on and on forever. You know that I can talk this way because I feel this way. This is the way I live. But the bottom line, many of us are targeted for knowing too much, which means that we're going to have to move in a way that's covert, not afraid. No, I'm not afraid of none of these people. They're going to have to come to me in a very covert way, right? But if I can influence somebody to think, not even to say, follow me and we're going to do this my way. No, there's no ego involved. This is what I live because I come from a different era where you pass on good stimulating energy to those around you. And if they have a problem with it and you're debunked on certain levels, well, fine, show me the right way. It's all about growth. It's all about getting better. And I'm not beyond correction. All I'm saying is keep your eyes open as to who is around you, because many of the people that come at our people who are trying to raise us up look like us now. And we don't know what the technology they have. They had hellified technology 40 and 50 years ago. So could you imagine what they have now? So just be careful. Move with those who you know the content of their heart, and even do a credit check on them. I don't mean a credit card or Experian or TransUnion. I'm talking about check them out, because there are a lot of people who can be bought out. Lots of times when you have lots of influence, there are people who are around you who get envious of you, and the enemy can swoop down on them and have them compromise you. So even still, check me out. After a year or so or 6 months, validate me. You understand? I'm not claiming to be anything big. I'm just a messenger. I'm just a person who shares my thoughts. And we have a little fun sometime, but I'm all about business, because the more that I see, the more that I know that all of us who can need to talk out, share information. And I can go a little deeper on that, and I will later on, but I just want to thank you all for being here. And like I said, it's all about pressing it and being continuous with what we do. And it should not be about ego. It should be about something greater than us, because we're not going to be here any longer. We're not, I don't mean any longer. I'm just saying we're not going to be here forever. There'll be a time when we're not here at all. So what is our footprint on this level of existence? How do we leave something that's good for those coming behind us while we can? Because there's a lot of things that are going to be happening on social media that'll stop the flow of good information that we can use, and all of the propaganda and tainted poison content will be let through. And I'm scared for our youth if we don't do anything about it. Anyway, I love you all. Yes, Sister Diane. On to the next one. And I'll be home in a little while. I'm going to take care of some business. Lance Scurv out. Peace.